Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Clemson tomorrow. Then 12 NFL games on Sunday. Before all of them kick off, we'll know the 4 teams in the college football playoff at noon Eastern on Sunday. Then Monday Night Football with the Steelers. It's a football Friday, but it'll be a football Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you're watching on TV with Ronnie Lott and Jay Williams, I am Zubin Mehenti, paying homage to another Trojan legend wearing the old 42. You guys ready for an unbelievable weekend of football?
Oh,
Let's get it.
absolutely. And it kicks off with tonight. SC, Oregon at the Coliseum in Los Angeles, Pac-12 championship. Finally get an opportunity to see what we made of. It's going to be good. It's going to be one. And you're right. Ronnie Lott, as Jay Will says, he wouldn't wear another grown man's jersey. There's certain ones that I'm going to wear, and this is one for sure.
Wait, Key. It didn't kick off with the Raiders doing what the Raiders did last night? That didn't kick off the weekend?
It did, but the weekend kicks off tonight. That wasn't the weekend, right? You know that.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Okay.
You're the one who educate me on these things.
I mean, Thursday nights lead to the weekend, though. It's an impetus for the weekend. But we're on the same page.
Impetus for the weekend. Yes. There we go.
So let's roll into this with the Raiders, but really the story, maybe the other quarterback. When John Gruden moved to Las Vegas, you know who bought the plot of land right next to him? The lot right next to Gruden's house. Derek Carr. You know what he was saying? The symbolism was saying, I'm going to be here with you for a while. Hang on a second. Groin injury out, Mariota in, Herbert on the other side. It's the all-Oregon matchup. And Key, we'll talk about the Raiders and their diminishing playoffs hopes in a minute, but the future seems really bright for Justin Herbert. And like Babe Ruth, you called your shot with this kid.
Well, look, man, it does look bright. I was excited to see how well he played last night. Excited to see Coach Lynn get the overtime victory when so many people question his game management, his clock management. And here's what we go back to the beginning of the football season into the spring, prior to the draft, doing free agency. There was so much buildup about what the Chargers would do moving on from Phillip Rivers. They had Tyrod Taylor sitting there in the wings waiting for Phillip Rivers to depart. They decided not to retain Phillip Rivers. He leaves. Now they're on the clock. What do? Should they sign Cam Newton? Oh, well, Cam Newton, they should sign, and maybe he's a bridge to a quarterback they draft. Should they go get to it? What all these different things, and quiet was kept. The guy right down the road was Justin Herbert at the University of Oregon. I was fortunate enough to go to the Rose Bowl to see him. I wanted to go see him. You know, I saw him against Arizona State and against Marvin Lewis and Antonio Pierce and Herm Edwards and an NFL defense. And that was the first time that he had to deal with that, and they got after him. He had a poor football game. But then I wanted to see him again up close. I saw him at the USC game, even though I was somewhat non-stable after drinking too much tequila, at the game, tailgating. And so that was kind of foggy. But when I went to the Rose Bowl to see him, I sat there, Zubin, and I'm like, he didn't have a lot of throws. He ran the ball well, but you could see it come off. Whenever he would spin it, you could see it come off his wrist. And then as time went on, you heard the name Joe Burrow. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, no, I understand what Joe Burrow has done at LSU and breaking records and winning the Heisman. But to me, this is the guy. He's 6'6". He's athletic. He's big. He's a big, tall, long guy. I mean, really athletic. And so I'm watching him run the ball against Wisconsin, and I'm saying, this is the guy. I don't see how others don't see it. And then as he falls in the draft, the Chargers sit quiet, and they say nothing. And then all of a sudden, they grab him. He's supposed to sit tight while he learns from Tyrod Taylor. Unfortunate accident happens to Tyrod Taylor with the punctured lung. He's inserted into the lineup against the Kansas City Chiefs. He takes them down to the wire, and Justin Herbert's legacy has lived on from there.
I mean, there's something to be said, Kid, about always staying ready, right? 27 passing TDs that ties Baker Mayfield, that he had that record in 2018. And I don't know, situation has so much to do. We talk about that, Key, where you get drafted to, what opportunities are given to you. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor happened, but the kid gets an opportunity. And look, the three C's, right? He's always cool, calm, and collective, you feel like. Now, that can usually be a knock on kids from California, right? That they're too cool. But it just seems like got drafted to the right situation, to the Chargers, not like the Rams, not with all these crazy expectations, and gets a chance to settle in.
One thing, fellas, I want to mention on the Raiders tip here, Key, and this is really interesting. You know, we sung their praises after they knocked off the Chiefs in Arrowhead. We really sung their praises after they narrowly lost to the Chiefs at home. Now their chances to make the playoffs have diminished to 5%. And Key, think about what has happened to the Raiders here in the last 4 or 5 days. They fire their defensive coordinator, Paul Gunther. Then they have 4 defensive starters missing in last night's game. And oh, by the way, their offensive coordinator wasn't there last night because he's dealing with COVID. That's Greg Olsen. So you shake up both of your coordinators in less than a week. You're missing 4 starters on defense, and now your playoff hopes have all but disappeared. Yet another key late season fade for Gruden in go around number 2 with the Raiders.
Yeah, and you know, I can't put my finger on it. It's just a situation. Unfortunate Carr gets hurt. They were driving. They had some momentum. They were back and forward, playing pretty good football at that point in time. It's just it didn't work out. And so now you're looking, why can't they fix the secondary? How come the defense is playing the way that it was playing? I know one thing in terms of the rush defense, Rob Marinelli fixed that. The pass defense, they did not fix. They need to get together and figure out how to get that done. And maybe just some of the coaching decisions, in-game decisions, is costing them to the point where they're kind of melting down. Last year, they lose 5 of the last 6 games, and now this year they've lost 4 of the last 5. They're headed in that direction. They should have lost to the New York Jets, and they would be 5 for 5. But it didn't happen that way. So when you start to look at it, you have to wonder what is going on with Coach Gruden. And I go back to his tenure with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I look at that, and I sit there and I say to myself, this is sort of the same way that things went in Tampa. After the Super Bowl victory, collapses were happening in the second half of the season. I don't know if it's adjustments. I don't know what it is, but it certainly needs to be fixed.
Look, I know we have to go to break in about a minute, but it just felt like the Raiders deserved to lose last night because they weren't playing to win. Like, you play to win. Overtime, you know, you run 2 running plays with Josh Jacobs. Okay, you run a little bit of a play action on the last one. Why not go for it on 4th down? If anything, you pin the Chargers within their own end zone, like on the 5-yard line. I don't understand the reasoning why just to take the points. I know I'm not a head coach, but it just felt like John Gruden was playing it safe there. I know it felt like John Gruden was playing it safe instead of going for the win, going for the throw.
All right, Jay, you want to know the rationale? Here's Coach Gruden answering your question.
It was 4th and 5. You know, we got a little bit closer. You know, we would have thought about it, but it was 4th and 5. We had them in 2nd and 10, backed up on their own 25, and we had a penalty, and a big penalty. But if it was a little bit closer, I'd have considered going for it. I know I went for it a few times earlier in the game, but to take the lead with 3 minutes left, I thought it was the play to make at that time.
So that's the rationale there from Coach Gruden. We're asking this morning on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed, who is this weekend's game more important for? This is the Sunday night tilt, the Giants or the Browns. Be a part of the Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed. ESPN Nation presented by Dr. Pepper. It's official. College football's back, and so is your favorite Dr. Pepper-loving college football town, Fansville. Head to a store near you to treat your inner college football fan to an ice-cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Again, Chargers over the Raiders in OT. On the way, what would cause one NFL player to call another player a coward? Simply put, it's one of the most insulting things one man can do to another. The details on the way after Jay has this.
It's time for some straight talk. Look, we all drop our phones. It happens. You fumble it, crack it, splash it. Well, Straight Talk Wireless now offers this new Platinum Unlimited plan that includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data, plus 20 gigs of hotspot and 100 gigs of cloud storage and more, all on the best networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
We heard from Cleveland Browns receiver Jarvis Landry, who called out Ravens cornerback Marcus Peters.
He's a coward.
For what appeared to be video of Peters spitting in Landry's direction during their game Monday night.
This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin,